world seems harsh for an entrepreneur just starting out, with many difficult tasks like finding investors, gathering funds, nurturing a team, and building a product. Founders often are found overwhelmed and directionless. To relieve this tension, we at Goodfirms conducted interviews with successful IT companies and discussed trending topics as well as their impact on the IT industry. So, without any further ado, let's dive into the conversation. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Suhana Bhattacharya, and this is the Goodfirms Leaders Roundtable podcast. So, for today's episode, we have Max Privalov, Business Development Manager of Peiko and CEO at Frently. Now, Peiko is a young company established in 2015, but it has quickly become one of the key centers for its European clients. The company's goal is to provide startups and major brands with the opportunity to grow and achieve good results. So, thank you so much, Max, for joining in today. So, anything that you'd like to add to the introduction?
Yeah, Hassan, nice to hear you too. No, I guess that's all. I think we'll cover something during our conversation. So we can start, I guess.
Definitely. Before we start, am I pronouncing your name right? Is it Maxim Privalov? Is it right?
Yeah, right. You can call shortly just Max.
Okay. Now, whether a newbie or an experienced, entrepreneurs know how tough it is to understand and manage clients' expectations. So we wanted to pick this specific topic up and discuss that with you on what kind of clients your company has dealt with and the challenge faced. Since this is the topic of customer expectation, I don't think we can move forward without knowing about Peiko's vision and the customer service philosophy that it lives by.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if shortly, I can tell that it is a win-win philosophy or a third best solution philosophy. And yeah, I know that everybody is tired of this general philosophy from trainings, and everybody tells it to look smarter or to sound smarter. But in our opinion, most of people use it in the wrong way. Usually, I guess they use it in a way that we will win. But in our opinion, we want our clients to succeed. And first of all, we try to understand the client needs, direct and hidden. And I mean that usually clients have an idea and a vision of implementation. Usually we try to look at it from different angles and help to find the best solution, even including those which will decrease our final earnings. And another part of win means that we also should make profits from it. So sometimes companies forget about this when trying to follow the win-win. So to finalize, we help clients to find the best solution for their projects and receive profits on our side. So if some of these parts are impossible, we tell it directly. So all should be transparent, honest, and with a good portion of motivation to find the best solution.
Right. And this clearly means that every company, whether it's starting out or it has been in the industry for a couple of years, they should have a clear goal and do the actions which actually align to the vision and take it even further, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what can new businesses do to establish relationship in the current business climate when customer retention and client acquisition depends on reputation?
I guess nothing new, I will tell here, nothing very complex. And we implemented this several years ago. So we have quick growth from 2015. And after 2 years, we have a plateau with certain number of employers and without growth. But after implementing these principles, we started to grow. And they are easy. Be professional, honest, and flexible. If you want, I can explain what I mean. But
Sure.
because it sounds very easy. Professional, honest, and flexible. Everyone will tell you to do that. So about professionalism, I mean that all your solutions should be backed by your knowledge and a reason. So, for example, if you make a decision to develop a fintech app in such a way, you need to understand why this solution is the best in our situation. So it should be best for you, it should be best for the client. So you can't develop it just because you always do it in the way somebody advised you, to develop, or because it's profitable for you, or because it's easy for you, or because you decided that it will be better for the client without asking the client if it's the best solution for it. It's very time consuming at the beginning, but I guess it's very reputation boosting, and it works for the future. So when you start working with the clients today with this principle, in the future they will recommend you to somebody, and they value that you have principles, because usually there is some sort of a competition between the clients and the company, and everybody think that everybody wants to get profits from each other. But when you try to be professional and transparent, they understand that you have principles, and you will, of course, you will make a profits, but you are interested in their success. That's what I mean by professionalism. And the second one, honesty, which is very easy, and everybody think, oh, nothing special here, to be honest. But I think that a lot of companies act, for example, 50 or 60% honesty and 40% with some different information, which means that you are not honest. So you need to be honest for 100%, because clients, they are not stupid, they will understand it. And the third one is flexibility. But sometimes new companies, they try to create the rules at the beginning and follow them. But if these rules are against the success of your clients, I guess that you need to change it somehow. Until it's legal and profitable for you, I guess you need to do anything to help clients succeed. So that's all.
And the 3 points that you mentioned are actually so easy, and people may think it doesn't really have a lot, but it actually forms the basis of the vision that the entire company is standing.
Yeah.
So Peiko has been established since 2015, and Peiko has worked with a variety of clients, whether it has been startups, small or medium enterprises, or to the MNCs. So which type of clients do you think are the most demanding in terms of resources and are very specific of what is provided to them?
I can tell about two types. First of them is self-funded startups. They're not exactly demanding in case of quality, but they're very demanding in budgeting. And the second one are enterprises, and they are most demanding in case of documentation. So startups usually want to start the project quicker and don't think about the future, but somewhere in the middle they understand that they have a big burn rate and begin to spend a lot of time on saving money, and they're slowing down the process. So what I recommend is to remember your principle of professionalism and try to discuss it with the startups at the beginning. So even if you have workers to dedicate on the project, it's better to spend more time to discuss it with the startups, how project will work and what is the plan, and only after that you should start, not right away. And regarding the enterprises, actually it's easy to work with them, but only after they will decide they want to work with you. But before that, there are a lot of circles that you need to go through because of their rules, and you need to follow them, and only after you will pass, only after you will start work with them, you can tell them what they need to change. So this is the most demanding part of working with enterprises.
Right. And like you mentioned, I think even startups don't really focus much on documentation, which should be a very important part of the process, because once things are documented, it is more imprinted in people's mind on what should be done and what not should be done.
That's 100%, because if the startup will prepare the documentation first, and you can help, of course, with that. You can make a list of documentation which the startups needs, and they will only say thank you after they understand that it is not a bureaucracy but a helpful thing.
Right, definitely. And how if the company comes forward and helps them with the task like this, even they would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right. Large companies are particularly brand sensitive, meaning they are really firm about who they are dealing with and how their brand looks. So what difficulties have Peiko encountered when working on projects for large size firms? And how do you ensure that you surpass their expectations?
Yeah, that's true. They are very sensitive and you can't do nothing with that. And actually, I understand them because I saw many times when specialists are trying to change the project from the very beginning and companies lose time to explain them all principles of the work, and those specialists can harm the project because they don't understand entire process or something like that. So we personally try to follow such rule or 3 steps rule. So firstly, you need to learn all the details and understand why it was done like that. I mean, why brand book was done like that, why this documentation was done like that. Then you need to become the best in performing those rules. So you will be the best in understanding of these rules. And only after that, when you understand all pros and cons of such approach, you can tell what needs to be changed to be most effective. So only after that. So you can't come to the project and tell we need to change it. You first need to understand that, become the best, and only after that propose what you need to change. That's all.
Right. And I think it also depends on how good the relation is with the client, because then everyone will be on the same page and will understand why the things are changing if they are required to.
Yeah, synchronization is the key.
So, as a business development manager at Peiko and also CEO at Frently, so I'm sure you had a number of client meetings, and I'm sure one of the advice that you can give to someone else would be first impression is the last impression. So, can you give some tips for first meetings with the new clients if someone is listening to us and they're heading to meet a new client, they're meeting for the first time? So, what is your tips for them?
Yeah, that's true. I had at first years of the work, I had several meetings when we were the best from the development side, but the first meeting was horrible and clients just decided that we can't develop the project. So after that, we made several changes. And what I totally recommend is that you should prepare for the first call in 100% cases. So you always need to be prepared. What does it mean? It doesn't mean that you need just 10 minutes to read some information about the company or something like that. It's a very time-consuming preparation. So first times before the client's call, I prepared maybe for 1+ hour, sometimes several hours, when I collected the information, then write my questions and write all the propositions that I can tell you. So you need to be prepared, even if you have worked with such projects a million times before. You need to learn all the details of the client's projects and write all your propositions, how to work with the projects. And also it's better to think about what questions will ask, not only about the project, but also about the client's criteria of choosing a method of work which is convenient for the client. And it should be done in a written form without exceptions. And the second thing, and that you need to make some sort of an interview. So client speaks more than you, and usually it's like 80-85%, and you're just guiding client. Don't try to sell, at least on the first call, because everybody starts about the selling when you're trying to tell how good is you. You just need to try the needs of the client and then try to think how you can cover these needs, or maybe how you can make even more than the expectations of the client. So something like that.
I think these are some golden tips that you've shared. And if someone is listening and they are heading to their first meeting, I really hope you crack it. So, what are some fundamental pillars of software development that are consistent while producing great software? Because regardless of the size of the project or the size of the client, at the end it doesn't matter. I think some fundamental pillars must be established to develop a project that is good nevertheless.
The 3 core principles. First is planning. Then the second is planning the security measures and planning what instruments you can use. So in general, it's planning. And regarding the general planning, you should think first about how the project should work. It sounds very easy, but you should prepare these criteria, some sort of a checklist. And before the start of the work, you need to go through this checklist, discuss it with the client, show how you plan to work with him, plan the architecture, something like that. And regarding the security measures, I guess that it is a very important thing, because a lot of times when clients are coming to us, continuation of the development after other teams, this is the first thing which we find on other projects. What I mean, that we can hack a lot of projects for 5 or 10 minutes, and we are not even hackers. I mean, that why usually companies act like that, because clients don't know how to check the security measures. They can check only the front end, how it works, maybe the admin panel, and that's all. So if it's beautiful, it works, and we can continue. But about the security, it is a very important thing, because if any data will leak from the website, your reputation will be lost for sure. Nobody will trust you, and probably nobody will trust the developers, because the information was leaked, and it is the most important thing. And that's all. This is the most important, and other things can change from client to client.
Definitely. And all that we've been discussing about client acquisition, how to manage clients' expectations. So I believe customer relationship management is also one of the tasks that has to be looked upon, and it's a very delicate process which obviously takes time. So when bringing on a new customer, a new company, want to convince them that you would not overpromise or underdeliver, just the right amount of it. So how do you ensure that clients' expectations are reasonable and you also stand up to it?
First of all, you always need to understand the project entirely, trying to go through it. And after that, you need to explain all the solutions that you want to implement and discuss it with the client. So you don't need to force client to follow this implementations or proposal, but to discuss if you understood everything correctly, and this will help you to synchronize with the client. And I guess this is the main thing. But have you also asked how to ensure the client if you are a reliable company or not?
Yeah.
Does it mean like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this will help as well. And the second one is to have a good portfolio and a good external profile somewhere. And I guess the good firms can help with that as well. So why does it work? Because when you are telling to the client that you are the best fit, usually clients don't trust that, because they are trying to find why
to actually figure out that if what they choose is the best or not, right?
Yeah, something like that. And when they will see that other clients, other companies, they also value you and you have a good reputation, they will trust you. And I guess that they will try to convince themselves by why they need to work with you, because they see that everybody choose you, and they also need to choose you.
Right, definitely. And having a good presence on listing platforms like Goodfirms is important, because it definitely gains the trust of the potential clients, while also ensuring the existing clients are happy and they'll be able to see all the work that has been done before. And this obviously makes bagging clients a lot easier, right?
That's for sure, because if you are no name, you had a lot of good projects, for example, you have a good portfolio, but sometimes the clients can just think that you are lying and they don't really understand what parts of the project you have done or something like that. But when they see the external confirmation that you are really the best or one of the best, they will trust you. So this is very important.
Exactly. So this was a lovely conversation, and thank you so much, Max, for taking your time out. I'm sure our audience will learn a lot about how to actually manage clients' expectation and actually stand up to it. So thank you so much, Max.
Yeah, thank you, Sahana. I hope that was useful, at least for somebody, and they will implement it in their work.
Yes. So thank you so much, and I wish you well. I wish you have a good day.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.